Hi friends, this is Miss Angie. I'm here for another installment of Sherlock Shorts. I'm going to be reading puzzles to you from the book, The Great Sherlock Holmes Puzzle Book by Dr. Gareth Moore. So last week I read to you a poem called The Strange Garden. I'm going to read that one to you, read the answer, and then I have a new one for you called The Sibling Sum. Siblings or brothers or sisters, the Sibling Sum. Okay, so here we go with Strange Garden. Watson, said Holmes one day, I just came across the most curious garden. In one flower bed, all except 2 of the flowers were roses, all except 2 were tulips, and all except 2 were geraniums. Can you tell me how many of each flower there were in the bed? How many indeed? Okay, so in the flower bed, all except 2 were roses, all except 2 were tulips, and all except 2 were geraniums. I find in puzzles like this, I almost have to write it out to figure it out because they're tricky. They can be tricky. All right, let's go back to the answer and let's see what that answer is. There was 1 rose, 1 tulip, and 1 geranium. Did you guys get that? Yeah, good job. Very good job. All right, the new one for today is called the Sibling Sum, meaning adding up brothers or sisters. Okay. Mrs. Hudson had her extended family over once again for tea, and I was in at the time. I decided I ought to try and make conversation. The first guests I came across were a fairly young boy and girl who I took to be a great-nephew and a great-niece of Mrs. Hudson. Are you 2 brother and sister? I asked them. They nodded. Have you any other siblings? I've got the same number of brothers and sisters, the girl told me. The boy frowned. But I've got twice as many sisters as brothers. How many siblings were there in the family? Okay, let me review. So they're brother and sister. And they nodded. Have you any other siblings, he asks, and they say, I've got the same number of brothers and sisters. So that's the girl says, I've got the same number of brothers and sisters, and the boy says, I've got twice as many sisters as brothers. How many are in the family? I don't know. I'm gonna have to write this one out again too. Take your time. Come back for our next installment and I will give you the answer to a sibling sum and I'll have a new puzzle for you. Bye, friends.